We have discussed so far in this series of the talks, we are trying to understand how the technology has evolved and what is the thought process of the human being. So what human being wants is that it wants to overcome its own limitation. So we have the limitations in terms of the physical body, we have the limitations in terms of our senses, we have the limitations in terms of our thinking capability possibly, or we have the limitation in terms of our intelligence decision making. So therefore we wanted to bring in the technology which seems to be efficient and the cost effective, and also it is sometimes accurate, right? Sometimes we human being makes mistake, but the computer never makes the mistakes, very rarely. Even if it makes the mistake, it's very rare. So therefore some people tend to think that one day AI will become more powerful than human being. So as let's say as a student or as a youth, you will be, your next venture or the next technology that we will be dealing with is the artificial intelligence technology. So therefore even if you are a mechanical engineer, you have to have some amount of knowledge of artificial intelligence. Alright, so these are the next generation in a powerful technology, which means that every other technology are going to be driven or empowered by this capability to imitate our human mind, or let's say imitate our intelligence some extent. I am using the word imitations because you do not know the power of the human being's intelligence. Going back to the 50 or 60 years of the history, for example, the Turing, he has devised a mechanism, thought experiment, what we call it is a Turing test. So he says that, all right, how do you know who is more powerful, whether the AI machine is more powerful or the human being is more powerful? All right, let's do an experiment. What is that experiment? There are 3 objects, and out of those 3 objects there are 2 are human being and 1 is the machine. All right, and there is a curtain or curtain wall, and behind the walls are sitting, one is the human being in one side, another is the machine on another side. And the other side of the curtain or the wall is the interrogator, what we call the interrogator, who asks the questions. And from the behind the wall, the answers comes back. Some answers comes from the human being and some answers come from the machine. So if the answer which is able to come, which is coming from the other side, and the interrogator is not able to distinguish whether it is coming from the human being or it is coming from the machine, then it means that machine has become as powerful as the human being. Okay, this is what we call as a Turing test. Recent advancement, or the most popular advancement in fact, of the artificial intelligence is what we call it as a GPT, or generative AI, right? Large language model, or so we call it as a LLM. It is based on the LLM technology, and popular name what we call it is a Chat GPT. Okay, Chat GPT. So and the Chat GPT is, we can think of in terms of it's like question and interface. So which means that whatever the questions you ask, it is able to answer as fluent as a professional professor speaking or answering to the same questions. You ask any questions. I have tried out many of the questions. It is very hard to distinguish. In fact, some of the answers are much more accurate than whatever the human being could answer it. So therefore, this kind of questions comes back again, whether the machine or the AI machine has surpassed the Turing test. If it is able to surpass the Turing test, then we say that AI has become more powerful than human being. If the AI will become more powerful, then what will be the scenario of the society? What will be our place in the society, or what will be the place of the AI driven technology in the society? So that is the time will tell us. So but before the time tells us, we will tell you with reference to our Vedic scripture whether the AI can become in one day much more powerful than the human being, or human being has got some unique position. So through this lecture series or through this talk series, we'll try to establish that the human being has got a unique position, and that's what is we wanted to identify or make you aware as a students, as a youth, that we should identify or recognize that the human being has got its own potencies which is far more beyond than what the technology can gives us. And that technology, whatever the human being, that power we have got, that is something to related with infinite or the infinity things, which means that whatever the power the human being has got is infinite in nature, and it is unique. It is not the question of whether we are accurate or not the accurate, but we are human, or the being human, something which is unique to us. We can make a mistake, but the computer will always does the right things. right? He cannot make the mistakes, which means that it is lacking something. So for example, I'll quote one of our very senior professors of the artificial intelligence, and he has the one belief, or let's say he has one thought, that human beings are unique in nature, and that uniqueness is impossible for anyone else to imitate. It is not possible, in fact, according to him, to imitate the human mind and the intelligence. And what to speak of the mind and intelligence, it is not even closer to the human brain. People say that if you ask the neuroscientist, so neuroscientist says that only 5 to 10% we have understood the human brain, the complexity or the complicatedness of the human brain. And with that human brain, 5% understanding of the human brain, it is very difficult to compare whether AI technology will one day surpass the capabilities of the human brain or the capabilities of the human mind and the intelligence. So we'll leave behind, we'll try to answer all these questions one by one, and hopefully, and if you have any questions to ask us, so please put your questions in our channel chat interface. So we'll try to answer one by one. Even if you have counter argument, or even if you have debate discussions, or wanted to understand the technical things, slowly we'll go into some of the technical little, but this talk series will be largely at the level of the layman, so that everyone else should be able to understand what is the capability of the AI technology in terms of, or in layman's terms, right? Thank you very much.